Yesterday, President Trump went down to Alligator Alcatraz, and of course, all of the left, they're coming unglued about it. Why are they coming unglued? Because President Trump, Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, Marco Rubio, they've all made it perfectly clear that the people that are going into Alligator Alcatraz are going to be the worst of the worst. Trey de Agua, MS-13, those have done things to little children, to women, just done horrible crimes. And they're not talking about just women and children, because you notice they haven't said anything about women and children going into Alligator Island. Alligator Alcatraz. They haven't said anything about women or children. You notice that. But what they have said is that all of the people that they're putting down there are innocent people. They're not getting due process, and they're putting them in Alligator Alcatraz because President Trump doesn't like them. And yesterday, I saw a post on X about Alligator Alcatraz, and I said, when are they going to make this a racial issue? I was like, oh, wait, they already have. Now they're saying that President Trump is already putting brown and black people in Alligator Alcatraz. They're not, and when the radical left talks about Alligator Alcatraz, not a single one of them will bring up the horrible crimes that these people have committed. They say nothing about the horrible crimes. They're just upset that President Trump is removing their foot soldiers from the streets of America. That's what it really comes down to. Because as I mentioned multiple times before, the Democrats, I truly believe that they need and they want chaos, animosity on the streets of America, destruction. They want that in the United States of America. They're not even hiding the fact that that's what they want. As I say multiple times, they're not even hiding it. It's like, they're like, why do we need to hide it? President Trump is not hiding his whole idea that he wants to put America first. So they're not going to hide the idea that they want to put America last. And you know what's really, really disturbing to me, listening to all of this information and look how they're kicking and screaming for the most horrible people on planet Earth, is that they say nothing about Lake and Raleigh. They say nothing about the other innocent women and children that have been brutally assaulted or even killed. They say nothing about them. They're silent when it comes to them. Why is that? Can anyone explain that? See, the reason why we have an Alligator Alcatraz is because what they've done to people, American citizens, actual American citizens in the United States of America, like Lake and Raleigh. The liberal media outlets, they won't even say her name. It's like her name is off limits to say. We do not say Lake and Raleigh. And what I don't understand is some people in the media, when they have the opportunity to bring up Lake and Raleigh, they say nothing. They're like really silent about it. I'm thinking, why are they so silent about it? This is a perfect time for them to say something about Lake and Raleigh. Perfect time for them to say something. The Democrats are saying that it's inhumane to have these monsters housed in Alligator Alcatraz. How is it inhumane? When President Trump and Kristi Noem said, look, we'll even help you not go to Alligator Alcatraz if you self-deport. We'll even buy your ticket, your plane ticket. And see, the Democrats, they hate that idea. How dare you get rid of our base? See, these people that should not be able to vote in elections, they are actually the base for the Democrat Party. Because even though the Democrats know that these people cannot lawfully go vote, they're using these people in the census reports. This is how they're able to have so many seats. This is the only reason why they have seats, is because of the people that they're counting. They're only counting bodies in the census report. And because the census report reflects to the Electoral College, that's how they're able to have these seats. Multiple seats in Congress. because the number of people, not the number of American citizens, but the number of people. And a lot of people are just learning about this. I remember maybe 6 months to a year ago, myself and my producer, we did a report about this, about the census report and how they're counting people coming into the country, not being American citizens. And that's why they're fighting so hard for it. Now here's President Trump removing all of these people. And of course, the Democrats are all upset about it. Because it's not that they care about them, because they don't. They don't. Look, all they want to do is be able to count bodies. And the bodies don't even have to be warm. Just allow us to count them so they can add it. The Democrat Party is the most evilest party in American history. It really is. And because this current Democrat Party, they're actually showing their true colors now, because the Democrat Party of the United States of America is actually the Democrat Communist Party of America. Now, they don't want to call themselves communists. They want to try to stay away from that as much as possible, but they're truly that. They're truly that. And I've asked this question, I'm going to ask it one more time, and I'm probably going to ask it again in the future. How many things, or can you name something that the Democrat Party has ever accomplished, that has ever done for the whole of the United States of America? I'm not talking about a certain group of people living a certain lifestyle, people with a certain complexion. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, has the Democrat Party ever done anything that we can look back and say, oh, they did X, Y, Z, and everybody in the country benefited from it? Everybody. Is there anything? Nothing. I've been asking that question for years. There's absolutely nothing. Just like the other question I've asked for multiple years, if Satan himself showed up at the DNC telling all of the Democrats his policies and what he wants to implement, not just in America, but around the world, is there anything that the Democrats would disagree with when it comes to Satan? Name one thing. You can't. The Democrats would agree with everything of Satan. And I've asked Democrats directly that question, and of course they just like, well, they can't come up with anything, and nothing clicks. See, you would imagine one would click with them that, oh, wait a minute, yeah, he has a point. The Democrat Party supports everything of Satan. Everything. There's nothing that Satan would bring that they would disagree with. They would stand up, oh my goodness, yes, it's so wonderful, so wonderful. This is exactly what we need to do. It's so caring, it's so loving. See, this is why I'm constantly talking about the spiritual battle that we're living in, the spiritual world that we're living in, because the spiritual world and the physical world, they're intermingling with one another. And the demonic spirit is taking over the minds of so many people. And it's like they don't even realize it, or some of them probably even realize it, but they're so bitter, so hateful themselves already. They welcome that demonic spirit to join them in their hatred. But then they turn around and call it love. There's so many lies about what they've been saying about Alligator Island. And we wouldn't have to have this issue. We wouldn't even have to have this location, Alligator Alcatraz. We wouldn't even have to have that if the Democrats would have said, look, we're not going to allow the people to just walk into our country committing all of these crimes. But they didn't do that. They did just the opposite. And again, because the Democrats, they are truly America last. And when President Trump says America first, they cringe. They hate the idea of it. I saw this video the other day with this liberal. It happened to be a white female liberal. And she actually saying that she's so disgusted with the Democrat Party herself. She said that she's almost to the point where she's going to put a MAGA hat into the cart. Because they've gone too far, too ridiculous. And she said she's almost, and this is something that really stood out to me. She said she's almost even at the point to where she's going to put an American flag on her home. And she called it cringe. Because if you notice, like in my neighborhood, on my street that I live on, there's only one American flag hanging from any house outside on my street that I live on. The street that I live on, there's only one flag. Can you guess which house it's on? Can you guess? And I'm the black dude. And there's a whole bunch of white liberals up and down my street. Whole bunch of them. So me being a black dude, I'm the only one that's flying an American flag outside of my home. The only one on my street. And I'm in Texas, of all places. And these white racist Democrats, they all have it in their mind that it's cringe. Like, oh my goodness, how dare you fly an American flag on your home in America? The Democrats, their only agenda for this country is to destroy it. It's not me making it up. It's them demonstrating that. It's the way they're showing it. They don't care. They don't care about us. And let me say this too, and then I want to share some stuff with you. As long as I've been doing this, I've been seeing a real change. I've been seeing a humongous change in our country. I've been seeing humongous change in people. I started doing videos. I picked up my first selfie stick in 2015. And I picked up my selfie stick because I believe today that God was pushing me to say something when I was extremely quiet when I was a kid. And now I have family members who won't even talk to me because they say I won't shut up. Because I believe that God is saying, look, you need to say something. And when I first started doing it, I tried to get everybody in my little world, my little bubble. I tried to get them to get in front of the camera and speak. But it was God that wanted me to do it. And I struggled with it. I was fighting with it because I was really quiet. I was terrified of reading in front of people. I'm like, God, you surely can't be calling me to do this. I mean, no one's going to listen to Will Johnson. To the point to where I was getting these chest pains. And I ended up in the hospital. I was having these chest pains. And I knew what it was. So when I finally started doing it, I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to do it. And I started doing it. I started putting myself out there. And I was concerned because, I had a job doing IT. I did IT for 20 plus years. Very good at it too. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. But then God was pushing me to do it. And after I started doing it, you have ever hear that expression, get it off your chest. Once I started doing that, then and then it went away. God got my attention. And every step of the way, I would get all these threats. I would get all these people sending me hateful messages, everything you can think of. Which brings me to today. You seen what they've done to me on Facebook. I have another Facebook page that's mine, and I've had it for years, and I'm able to get stars on that Facebook page. They've done so much damage to me. I lost my YouTube channel back, and I got it back, and it's because of who I am. Because I haven't broken any laws. I haven't done anything wrong. It's just because of the way I think and the way I am, they want to shut us down. And I've been doing this because I love my country. And this is the greatest country under God's green earth. This is the greatest country, or blue earth, whatever angle you're looking at. Listen to this. This is with Scott Jennings on the Communist News Network. And of course, they're upset because of alligator Alcatraz. And they're trying to say it's inhumane. They're trying to figure out how they can stop it. Now, I said this yesterday, if they ever get the opportunity, if the Democrats ever get the opportunity to take over the White House, get the House and the Senate, this alligator Alcatraz, they're going to empty it. They're going to empty it with all of these hardcore criminals, Trey de Agua, MS-13. They're going to put them back onto the streets of America. They're going to open up the southern border. And guess who they're going to put in that facility? Any guess? Any guesses? Y'all tell me in the chat. Who do you think that the Democrats, if they ever get back into position, if they could control Florida, and they don't even have to have Florida, they can do it in California, because the commies there will be happy to do it. They're going to mimic it. Just like they force all of us to drink the Kool-Aid. Well, not all of us. I refuse to drink it. But people wanted to keep their jobs. They wanted to force people to, in order for you to keep your job, you have to drink the Kool-Aid. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The same thing here. They're going to take advantage of it if they get the opportunity, and they're going to put who in it? But listen to this.
We deal with extremely violent populations just fine.
I just think that I don't think you can say, I don't think you can avoid what alligator Alcatraz is. I mean, I don't think you can just turn a blind eye to it. I think it's anti-American. I think the fact that you're going to have individuals and populations in there that are stacked on top of each other, many of whom without due process. And let me just also say this before it runs on clips throughout social media, is that I don't think there's going to be any Democrat in this country, including myself or you, Christine, who says that if you have committed a violent crime or any crime whatsoever, you shouldn't be deported. We're not saying that. You should be. However,
whatever. As soon as he said that these people that have committed these violent crimes, they need to get due process. When Lake and Raleigh, did she get due process? Absolutely not. See, they're not concerned about people like Lake and Raleigh, about American citizens. They're more concerned about, hey, these hardcore criminals, you got to leave them in the United States of America for the next 20 years before we decide to let them be deported. He's lying. Now, they're coming out there saying that because it's the right thing to say, but he's lying.
The fact that Donald Trump this morning said you should learn how to swim sideways. I mean, there are certain things about this country and the virtues of it. And the reason that Donald Trump and others are able to build alligator Alcatraz is because of the simple fact that you don't give people the benefit of their humanity. I also think that, look, if we want to have a conversation about who belongs where, when, how, and whether or not their citizenship status, and we want to look at everything. I mean, I would look at Donald Trump Jr. I mean, I would look at all of Melania's kids, all of Ivania's kids. I mean, let's just have a full conversation over who belongs here, how do they get here, their citizenship status. Let's just have a full discussion about all of it. Why is that not on the table right now? I mean, the only person here should be Tiffany Trump if we're going to have this discussion.
Can I ask you, Pete, to respond?
I mean, really, you hear this? So essentially, and I've seen this floating around all over social media, especially on X, where they're trying to put this opinion piece out there that President Trump's family are here as birthright citizens, right? This is what they're trying to get. This is what they're trying to assume, that his birthright citizenship is the reason why President Trump's family is here in America. Birthright citizenship. Let me show you how the liberal media has convinced people to believe the lies. I want you to listen to this, happen to be a white female liberal. Listen to how she's complaining about alligator Alcatraz. And the thing is, when you get these people that are so radical like this and they start saying lies and pushing lies, and then when people start believing the lies, it won't be long before the mainstream liberal media start regurgitating some of these lies. Remember, it was Nancy Pelosi. She said that they put what they call it like a hit piece. They will put the lie out into the media. And I was like really shocked that she was saying it. But they will put the lie out into the media. And then when the media comes and asks them questions, they will confirm the lies. It's a hit piece. Listen to this about alligator Alcatraz.
Guys, they're throwing the deportees out of the planes and into the ocean. No, this is not a drill. No, this is not fear-mongering. They're shackling people, flying out into open ocean and throwing them out, okay? The flight patterns, there's people tracking them on this app. The flights going out with the deportees, watching them go out to open ocean and circle back. A family in Italy saw 5 shackled bodies wash up on the shore. No, but seriously, on everything that you stand for, whether it's bullshit, consumerist propaganda, or actual leftist good values, or whatever the fuck it is.
I do apologize for the enhanced language on here. I didn't realize that potty mouth was coming out like that. Ooh, wait. Okay, you can get her off the screen because I think people got enough of it, got the gist of it. Basically, what she's saying is that President Trump is putting illegals on planes and basically opening up the door on these planes and pushing them out. This is what she's saying.
Yeah.
This is what she's alluding to. There's no proof of it, no evidence of it. But she's saying this is what the United States of America is doing. And she's doing this so they can justify doxing ICE members, so they can justify attacking ICE members, so they can justify hating America. And none of it's true.
Yeah. You know what? Well, as always, when I hear these stories, I'm like, where's she getting this nonsense? Because somehow there might be a strain of truth in it somewhere. All Democrats do it. They have a strain of truth.
Yeah, because they leave out certain details.
Right. They don't have the whole story. So I looked it up, and this is what's going on. It says in June of 2025, at least 5 bodies with their hands and feet shackled were recovered from the Mediterranean Sea near Spain. Authorities believe these were migrants possibly killed by smugglers during attempts to cross from North Africa by boat. Spanish police are investigating possible murder by smugglers, not deportation or U.S. government involvement. That is a conspiracy theory that has no foundation on it, but that's what these people do. They live in these alternative realities. This person could have done a very simple Google research, but no. They heard some other idiot that sounds and looks like them, and they said, wow, they look like me. They must be smart and intelligent like me, and so this must be true. And then they share the lie, right? And mostly because they have TDS too, and also they hate America, and they hate white people. I mean, you could go on and on and on, but they're not dealing in reality. This is not truth. But the sad thing is people are going to believe what she's saying.
Yeah, because they're not dealing in reality 100%. Hey, let me say really quick, thank you to Ann for the Facebook stars. Thank you so much. And Bill on Facebook, thank you so much as well for the Facebook stars on there as well. Hey, everyone, please, if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up for me. Hit the thumbs up. Now, here's something that might just possibly trigger a lot of people. Okay. And I'm just reporting on it here. Here's Unjoyful Reed. You remember her? She was on MSDNC. And they, you know what? Rumors has it, allegedly, that they hated working with her. And she was such a nasty person.
Well, I hate listening to her. So.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people do. But I just want to share this with everyone to expose how they're thinking and how hateful and nasty they are. President Trump, what they're doing is positive. And you know what? Alligator Alcatraz, it's a deterrent. That's all that it is. If you don't want to go to Alligator Alcatraz and you're here in the country illegally, they will help you leave. What country you want to go to? You don't even have to go to your home country. What country you want to go to? Apparently, there's a budget for you to get a free plane ticket to wherever country you want. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here. You ever heard that expression? Well, listen to Unjoyful Reed talk about Alligator Alcatraz.
And I will note that, we tried to forget about him, but Ron DeSantis is still governor of Florida. He took the Comfy Couch hosts on a tour of the concentration camp that he's building in Florida, in order to round up brown people, and throw them in a camp because he doesn't want them in Florida. So,
you hear this? The brown people and black people, and throw them in the camp because he doesn't want them in Florida. When has Ron DeSantis ever said that? Has he ever said that? See, this is part of the reason why people don't ever care to hear this woman. She's blatantly lying, and she just making it up. And this is what she constantly did on MSSTD. She did that all the time. And they do it on the Communist News Network. They do it all the time.
Brown people and throw them in a camp because he doesn't want them in Florida. Surprise, surprise. The economy of Florida is going to be severely harmed by rounding up brown people who, by the way, all over this country, Latinos are afraid to go to work. Anybody who is perceived or looks Latino is afraid to go to work. I know people who are not Latino, but they're brown, and so they look Latino to the naked eye if you don't know any better.
So let me get this straight. American citizens that are Latino are afraid to go to work. Is there anybody watching right now that's American citizen that's a Latino? Are you afraid to go to work? I mean, you're an American citizen. Are you afraid to go to work? Because she's suggesting just because you look a certain way, racially profiling, because you look a certain way, they're going to pick you up, which is a bunch of BS. Is not even happening.
Who are walking around with their passports, who never leave home without a passport. Because this is a question I want to ask the audience. How would you prove you're a citizen? If ICE came up to you and dragged you off, how would you prove it? I mean, do you have any proof that you're a citizen? There have been even cases where people showed their real ID with a little star in it, and that still wasn't believed. They've still been rousted. They've still been harassed.
Is that true, Shannon? Because essentially what she's saying is that people, real ID, today, if you have to go to the DMV, when you get a driver license, as of today, when you walk back out with it, you're going to have a real ID. They passed that nationwide. So every single American citizen that goes in and get a valid ID, you're going to have a real ID. Now, in some states like California, and I believe they tried to pass it in New York and it didn't, if I'm not mistaken. But there's other states where they're trying to push it to where if you're illegally in the country that you can get a real ID. Just because you have a real ID doesn't make you an American citizen. Again, just like they normally do, they conveniently leave out that detail. You see how that works? California, when you go to the DMV, you're an illegal alien, they'll give you a driver license. And guess what else they do when you get a driver license in California? They register you to vote. They register you to vote. They don't even ask your citizenship.
Yeah. Actually, I think here in does Texas do it now too? Yeah, well, they do ask you if you want to be registered to vote, though, here in Texas. But you know what, Will? I just want to say something. Joy Reid was talking about some people are feared to be arrested. There have been 2 or 3 cases where there were Americans that were accidentally arrested when they were questioning their identity. It was just like 2 or 3, I think. But of course, on the grand scale, that's like 0.00001% or something like that. But of course, the Democrats go, oh, they made a mistake. I mean, how many people have been mistakenly arrested for, something or right? And so it does, it happens. But of course they will let go. I mean, the people aren't, deported, and they're not just snatching just anybody looks brown. I mean, ICE agents and Homeland Security really take a lot of effort to research who they're about to pick up. Now, there may be collateral damage when they go somewhere and there's other illegals with them and they pick them up or arrest them. And I think that's what happened with these other arrests. But they're not targeting Americans. And that's really what she wants to elude. And she wants people, Americans, to be fearful of. And that's not happening.
Yeah, it's not happening. It's not happening. Let me play the rest of this of her.
Where people showed their real ID with a little star in it, and that still wasn't believed. They've still been rousted. They've still been harassed. And even if you're not actually taken into custody, imagine being a brown person in this country right now, where you can't even walk the streets without fear of being tackled by random people with masks on. That's who we are now. This is like being in apartheid South Africa in the 1980s. I want to note for you guys just for a moment, Rafael Cruz.
Now, Will, I'm going to ask you.
I mean, come on, man.
I'm going to ask you.
Come on.
Because
it's so tired. I'm tired of it.
You have
the fatigue.
You have many brown friends. You have some Hispanic friends.
Oh, yeah.
Are they fearful that they're going to...
they want Trump to do more.
Let me tell you what. The only people fearing for their lives are the ones that are guilty of something.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, because they're having to constantly look over their shoulder, you know. They constantly have to look over your shoulder. Look, if you're not doing anything wrong, then you don't have to worry about it. I mean, seriously, that's how it works. I'm not committing any crimes. I don't have to constantly look over my shoulder. Now, when I go out and I'm talking to these liberals, I'm walking around. You know what? You know what, Shannon? I don't even look over my shoulder then. When I go to these events with these radical liberals, I don't even look over my shoulder then. You know why? Well, because I pray before I go.
Yeah.
I pray before I go. And it's like, you know, look, they'll push on me and they'll even hit me every now and then, you know. And I always tell them, the guys that hit me one time, I said, look, you get one time to hit me. You get one time. I'm just saying. The ladies, I don't know if there's a number. I'm just saying. But they push me all the time. Okay, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back from this break, we got to talk about the other swamp. So we were just down in the Florida swamp where the Democrats don't want that swamp. But when we come back, we're going to go to the DC swamp. We'll be right back.
Life can be pretty unpredictable, filled with good days and not so good days. And sometimes, the only difference between the two is your level of preparedness. The Jace case lets you be better prepared for whatever comes your way. It contains antibiotics and other prescription medications so that you aren't caught unprepared. With the Jace case, you are able to get your prescription medication before the unpredictable happens, allowing you to turn those not so good days into great ones. Go to Jace.com now and get your own Jace case.
I have that right here. I just want to talk about it really briefly. Jace.com. It is amazing, everybody. It really is. This is amazing. And let me put it to you this way. When I first saw that we're on the verge of World War III, how they were saying, oh my goodness, we're going to World War III. I'm thinking to myself, I'm so happy that I have this. Now, I don't want to have to oh my goodness, I need it. I don't want to be in that position. But if we ever do get in that position, I'm really thankful that I have this for that reason. So look, go to Jace.com, check it out right now, Jace.com. Use promo code WILL and you can get, how much is the percentage, Shannon?
$10 off.
You get $10 off. Right, and look, you actually talk to actual physicians. Okay, this is not something that you just talk to someone randomly.
A pharmacist, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much.
And pharmacists, you can email them and ask questions. It's for emergencies. It has antibiotics, it has pain medicine, it has stuff like that. And so if you're somewhere or there's, something happens in the community, you can't get to your doctor or something like that, this is a great pack to have as an emergency. It's
if you're going on camping, like to show the young man there going camping. If you're going on a road trip,
absolutely
going on boating.
Driving across country, anything like that. And you could, if you have particular prescriptions, you can get those added to it as well. So check it out.
Jace.com /Jace.com. jace.com. And don't forget, promo code WILL. Promo code WILL. Okay. Let's go to the other swamp. The big, beautiful bill. The Democrats are so upset because it passed in the Senate. Now it's back in the House. And they say that it's more likely going to pass in the House and then go to President Trump's desk for him to sign it. Let me remind you, this is the big, beautiful bill that has no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, and no taxes on Social Security. And there's other benefits in there. The Democrats never want to bring that up. They never want to mention it. Some of them, and I think we have that one where Ratskin was even saying that, oh, I didn't think they were for real. I didn't think they were actually going to do that. And then he said, well, it is an income. And if you're making a lot of money from tips, then you should have to pay more. Dude is a total idiot. But listen to some of this.
It does not harm low-income families. So think about this. About 90 million people out there are hourly workers who are going to benefit from the no tax on overtime. Think about all the workers that count so much on their tips, so we're not going to tax the tips. Think about the seniors that maybe want to make a little extra money because they don't think Social Security is as much as they expected. They go back to work. They don't have to give up 50 cents on the dollar of their Social Security benefit. There's so many ordinary folks that benefit directly from those things. And then, of course, there's the stuff from the first term, the indirect effects of just more capital spending, more jobs, more real wages, and so on. And so right now, our expectation is that at least $10,000 is going to be the benefit for the typical family if we pass this bill. If we don't pass the bill, then we're going to see a 4% drop in GDP and a recession almost overnight.
Wow. So we could actually see a recession almost overnight. And you know what? This is what the Democrats want. They want a recession to happen so they can say, oh, my goodness, look, President Trump, he lied. He's destroying the country. Don't you regret voting for him now? You know how many times I've had people send me messages saying that and put comments in the post. Don't you regret voting for Trump now? And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't regret it. I'm happy to vote for him. They want me to say I do, but I don't. I have no disagreement. President Trump has come through. The only thing that I wish President Trump would do is address the situation with the big tech companies, what they've done to the American people. That's one thing that I would wish President Trump would bring to the forefront, because it's still happening. It's still happening. And I'm going to make a prediction here. If President Trump never gets the time to address what the big tech companies did to him, what they're doing to us, they're going to do it again. Now, it's just a prediction I have. I hope that I'm wrong. But if President Trump, if he never addresses it, when it comes time after, let's put it this way. If the Democrats are successful in getting the House and the Senate back, and then all they're going to do is drum up impeachment charges against President Trump because he's done the positive things for the country, that's all that's going to be their only focus. Look, this is hypothetically speaking. From the way I see it, that the Democrats should never, ever take control again, the way I see it, just because people are starting to see who they truly are. But let's just say here, hypothetically speaking, that they do take the midterms. They're going to start impeachment on President Trump, and then the big tech companies, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to silence President Trump again, because they're on the side of Democrats all day long. Now, as long as President Trump is in his position right now, they're acting all kosher. They're going to be like, okay, yeah, we're going to work with you, Mr. President Trump. We're going to work with you. They're lying through their teeth. They're lying because they're still doing it. See, they're still doing it to people like Will Johnson. They're still doing it to thousands, if not millions of other Americans. They're still doing it. And then they use the excuse, oh, it's just the algorithm. But this big, beautiful bill, I wish it was in there too, that they would stop doing it. Section 230, go away, stop them from doing what they've been doing to everybody. And just like the Democrats are upset with Will Johnson, because I'm black and I support President Trump, Democrats are upset with the Republican senator. What is her name again, Shannon?
Murkowski.
Murkowski. Thank you so much. Listen to this, because Murkowski is pretty much through and through a Democrat. She sided with them when it comes to impeachment of President Trump. She sided with them on everything. Now she sided with the big, beautiful bill. And the only reason why she did it is because she's getting something. See, this is how it works. You have, Thomas Macy. The only reason why he's out there speaking really loud, because he's not getting what he wants. All of them are like that. Once they go up on Capitol Hill, it's about what I can get. And if I can't get what I want, I'm going to go out and tell everybody the reason why we shouldn't do whatever it is.
There. Senator Paul said that that your vote was a bailout for Alaska at the expense of the rest of the country.
Oh my God.
That's what Senator Paul said.
Senator, we've got the...
I didn't say it, ma'am. I'm just asking for your response.
My response is I have an obligation to the people of the state of Alaska. And I live up to that every single day. I fight for my state's interests, and I make sure that Alaskans are understood. I work hard to take care of a state that has more unique situations, more unique people, and it's just different. And so when people suggest that federal dollars go to one of our 50 states in a, quote, bailout, I find that offensive. I advocated for my state's interests. I will continue to do that, and I will make no excuses for doing that. Do I like this bill? No, because I tried to take care of Alaska's interests. But I know that in many parts of the country, there are Americans that are not going to be advantaged by this bill. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that we moved through an artificial deadline, an artificial timeline to produce something, to meet a deadline, rather than to actually try to produce the best bill for the country.
You know what? See, this is the problem with these people on Capitol Hill. They don't have deadlines for nothing. This is the problem. President Trump is giving them a deadline. But they don't have, this is why they never get anything done for the American people, because they don't have any deadlines. Oh, they just kick the can down the road. You've heard that expression, just kick it down the road. We'll let someone else deal with it. We'll let somebody else deal with it. We're not going to deal with it right now.
And the sad thing is everybody's vote, or a lot of these people's votes, have to be bought. I mean, her vote, essentially, she's admitting to it, was basically bought. You know, she wasn't for the bill, but she saw that it was going to go through, by her own words. So she said, okay, so since it's going to go through, I need to make sure that people in Alaska get something for my vote. And that's how she's going to justify to her people for voting for it. I mean, I heard kind of what it was that she requested. So, you know, it's just sad. I don't know. I just feel like everything's so polarized. And instead of just giving the American people the whole truth about these bills and what they're truly fighting for, what they're truly against, they have to create lies of what they're against. Just like, oh, there's going to be people removed from, 5 million people removed from Medicare, 1.5 million. And then people go, oh, well, that's just terrible. But they're not telling the whole truth of who those 5 million people are. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they tell these half-truths. People are being removed, but the reason why they're being removed are completely different. And so people, if they really want to know the truth, they have to go research for themselves. They have to dig for, the American people cannot trust a single person in media. We can't trust a single person in Congress.
No.
I mean, it's really sad.
I trust President Trump's cabinet, but in Congress, both the House and the Senate. I don't even know. You know what? I don't even really trust Mike Johnson. Because people were wondering if Mike Johnson actually going to rise to the occasion and get this done.
Yeah, get it finished.
So President Trump wants to be able to sign this on the 4th of July.
They're saying that's going to be a big task.
He wants to be able to sign this on the 4th. So today's the 2nd. They have tomorrow. And I guess they have, tomorrow they need to go ahead and vote on it, right? Right? They need to go ahead and vote on it.
I guess if you want it done by the 4th, because then it has to go to his desk. Or maybe he just means voted on by the 4th. I'm not sure.
I think he wanted to sign it on the 4th. I think he wanted to sign it on the 4th. 4th of July. Why not? It'd be a great time for him to sign a bill that is going to help the American people.
Even though Schumer changed the name of the bill.
Well, and again, Schumer, the reason why he wanted to change the name in the Senate.
It the act.
They call it the act. So then that way, years and years from now, they can say, well, it was the Democrats that came up with the act. And what they'll do is they'll leave out the detail that it was the Republicans' bill. And they'll just say, well, no, the Democrats came up with the act because they came up with the name and they changed the name. I'm telling you, it's a manipulation game. Hear me now, believe me later on, just like everything else. Republicans do something positive, then the Democrats want to take it and try to run with it, act like it's theirs. Prime example, Abraham Lincoln. Did you know there's a movement right now to say that Abraham Lincoln was a Democrat? And you know why they're trying to say that Abraham Lincoln was a Democrat? Because he freed the slaves. That's the only reason. Because he freed the slaves. He was not a Democrat. He's the first Republican. The first Republican to win an election in the United States of America, and the Democrats want to change it. Well, listen to this nut job. Talking about the big, beautiful bill. Listen to this.
I am shaking with fury over what just happened. That's the most monstrous piece of legislation I've ever voted on in my time in Congress. What do those Republican senators go back and tell their constituents that they did? In the final speech, the only thing they mentioned was the money for the border. But what more can they do? They've already militarized the border. They've already created an immigration police state. They didn't mention anything about the fact this bill kicks 17 million people off of their health care. There are going to be thousands of people who die in this country because they lose their access to health care.
Are you hearing this? And again, just like I just mentioned a second ago, what's the key detail that he's leaving out? The key detail. And he's fear-mongering. He's 100% fear-mongering. They're wanting illegals to have health care. President Trump is saying that all these people that have abused the system, no longer. The Democrats, they love abusing the system. All of these people that are on health care, that are not American citizens, no longer. The Democrats want them on it because it creates incentives for people to get to the United States of America where everything is free. Socialism, 100%. These Democrats are nothing but socialists. And socialism always leads to communism throughout history.
There'll be tens of thousands of other lives that are needlessly destroyed.
Oh my
This is the biggest cut in child nutrition.
Listen to this.
In the history of the country, I think. There are going to be moms and dads who literally watch their children go hungry. And why? Because they wanted to pad the pockets of Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago friends.
Really?
That's the only reason that they are throwing people off of health care, that they are...
No, because they're not American citizens. I mean, tell the whole truth. Tell the whole truth. Don't lie. Tell the truth.
Rendering little children hungry so that some billionaire can get an extra $200,000 tax cut. It's just repulsive.
What's repulsive is the fact that you Democrats will come and lie every single day. And you know what? And I've said this so many times too, that when these people get in this position and they go out and they publicly lie like he's doing right now, there should be more consequences than them just possibly losing their seat. They should be fined for this every single time they do this. They should get a reduction in pay every single time they do this. They should be censored every time they lie, because we can't lie to Congress. If we lie to Congress, they put us in jail. But they have like free reign to lie to the American people. And the reason why he's lying, saying all of this nonsense, is because he's trying to get people worked up to the point where they will go out and hit the streets and be violent. Listen.
They did. Now, it hasn't passed the House. There is a small but not insignificant chance that we can stop this bill before it gets to the president's desk. So let's get to work. Let's keep fighting. Let's not give up. Even if it does pass the House, then we have to tell the world what they did. We have to make sure that every single senator, every single congressman who voted for this from a swing state or a swing district never sets foot in this building again.
So how's that going to happen? What does he mean by that? That they never set foot in there again? How are you going to achieve that?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like he's calling for violence to me. What do you say? Let me know in the comments. And let me say, Mandatory Carry, I see you. Thank you so much for the super chat on YouTube. Thank you so much. What were you going to say, Shannon?
Because I'm sitting there thinking, he's not saying we need to make sure these people don't get reelected.
No, he's not saying that at all.
He literally said we need to make sure these people never set foot in here again. And I'm like, do you understand this is what polarizes our politics? This kind of behavior, these kind of words, people hear those words. I caught it. I sat there and I said, what is he saying? What is he doing? I mean, I cannot stand these Democrats, and he just said it, his whole agenda is to trash the Republicans in the Senate that passed this bill. Now, I'm not saying you can't come out and talk and say, I don't agree with it. I get that. But when you say it's your mission, it's like, well, what can't you be doing something productive in our political system?
I asked that earlier.
Just take to the media trash your opponents?
I asked that earlier. Have the Democrats ever done anything that's been productive for this country? The answer is no. They've done nothing. Someone was asking, who is this guy? He's Congressman Murphy.
Chris Murphy.
Congressman Chris Murphy.
Oh, I can't believe you don't know who he is, because he will take every opportunity.
I mean,
to
not
go
everyone
on
pay
CNN
attention to these
and
Democrats,
MSNBC.
but yeah, he runs on every media outlet he can that will talk to him.
And he's so negative.
Oh my goodness, he's
so
one
hateful.
of the worst.
He's another Adam Schiff.
Yep.
Another Hakeem Jeffries.
Yep. Just blatantly lying. Another Cory Booger. See, this is what the Democrats do. They lie about everything. And for everyone that just missed what he just said, I took it back so you can hear it again. Listen closely. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Get to work. Let's keep fighting. Let's not give up. Even if it does pass the House, then we have to tell the world what they did.
Listen.
We have to make sure that every single senator, every single congressman who voted for this from a swing state or a swing district never sets foot in this building again. This is a moral abomination, what they just did. And for what? For what? Just to make the lives of the rich and famous a little bit easier? So
how about the American people? I want life to be a little bit easier for me. I don't mind working, right? I don't. I come on here every single day in hopes that people will give me Rumble rants, in hopes that people will bless me with Facebook stars, will bless me with super chats, will bless me with gold pills on pill.net. I come on here every day and I'm willing to work for it. 100% willing to work for it. And people do. They support me. They go to my website even. They support me on my website, uniteamericanfirst.com. I'm willing to work for it. I'm not looking for a handout. I only want people to support me if they like the work that I'm doing. I'm willing to work for it. I got a sign, willing to work for it.
My question
willing to work for it.
Is he has audacity to sit there and say they have it's a moral abomination.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's not a moral abomination to say that if you don't deserve something, you don't get it. If you're sitting at home and you're collecting off the hard-earned money of other people that are out there working every day with their hard sweat, tears, stressing out at home, at jobs, and you're going to stay home and say, well, I deserve this. No, you don't. Morally, you do not. You're being lazy. And then you talk about this from the party that supports many things that are morally.
Oh my goodness, dude. Yeah, we can't even get into all of it. Yeah, it's so disgusting.
To God, right?
Oh my goodness. Did y'all see the event that they were having in was it Canada?
Canada.
Ooh, it's so bad. It's so bad. The event that they just had in Canada.
Yeah.
Was it like 2 days ago?
Yeah, for the month of June.
Is so bad. Oh, it was so bad.
I mean, they believe.
I don't even want to try to describe it. And I'm just kind of like surfing through X.
It.
No, I don't want to describe it. It's that bad. You can. I was scrolling through
street,
X and I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, oh.
A bunch of men walk down the street with no clothes on. In a parade, parading themselves.
With children all up and down the line. I'm like, oh. It's so bad. Then they had the nerve to talk about morals. When they go, but Will Johnson, that's Canada. San Francisco's no different.
Yeah, we've seen those parades there before.
San Francisco's no different. Honestly. Oh yeah. Now let me share this one with you because we're gonna run out of time here. Here's Rat Skin. Listen to Rat Skin talk about the big beautiful bill. Rat Skin, he's such a watch.
I was asking you about no taxes on tips.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Is there anybody watching right now that's upset with no taxes on tips? Are you upset with that? What about no taxes on overtime? How many of you working right now and you need to do overtime? I mean, I do overtime all the time, and I don't even get paid overtime. How many of y'all would love to have no taxes on overtime? Can you imagine how many more people would be like, man, I wanted to work more?
Which is part of this bill for working people who work on a tipped wage. Do you support that?
You know, I haven't looked seriously at it because I haven't thought they were serious about it.
Really? So President Trump, his administration, the entire time he was campaigning, he wasn't serious about making sure that the American people have more of their own hard-earned money in their own pockets? Oh, not serious. No, how dare you do such a thing? We don't want Americans to have their own money. Now listen to this lame excuse that he gives.
I just want to say this real quick. Why are you voting on something that you haven't read?
Very good question.
You know, tips are income. And I would prefer just to have a much more progressive income tax. So
no, progressive. Listen to that.
People who are making a lot of money are paying more, much more like happened under very conservative presidents like Nixon or Eisenhower, than to give people the kind of symbolic consolation prize of saying, we're not going to tax tips. I mean, tips are income. I suppose that it's difficult to record them and to keep track of them. So I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but I think that it's a major distraction from what's really gone on, which is that the GOP has destroyed the idea of progressive income taxation in America, which is the more money you make, the more you should pay because you get to draw more resources from society.
Progressive taxing. Are you progressive taxing? These progressives, they're the problem. They're the problem.
And he
actually talking about progressive taxing or what? Yeah, make it go away.
He's such an idiot because he says the more you make, the more you grow, you pull from the resources. That's not true.
No, the more you're gonna.
I mean, of what happens.
Yeah.
Literally, the people that draw off of this, except if you retire, are the people that aren't working hard. Aren't the ones that are making way more money and get so forth, so they get more resources. You get more, the other people that aren't working are getting the resources right now. And that's the problem. It's upside down, but that's how he wants it. I mean, honestly, he wants socialism.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're advocating for.
Yeah. All of them, these radical leftist lunatics are all wanting socialism, which automatically leads right into communism. They hate capitalists. They hate a capitalist nation. That's the reason why they hate this country so much. I'm a capitalist, and I don't mind working for it, as I've said before. UniteAmericaFirst.com. Sign up for the free newsletter. Free newsletter. And for those of you that want to support me, please, UniteAmericaFirst.com/donate. Monthly subscribers, God bless you. Thank you so much. And if you just want to help me out one time, right there you see them. You see all the usual ones there, or my physical address, which you see right there below. That's my physical address right here in Texas. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. 1 hour from now, I will be on my show, Culture Wars. You might want to tune in for that. I got more to share. God bless everyone. See you tomorrow.